Hi, folks. Welcome to another story at the St. George News Network. I'm David, and my story today is about the lack of accountability and transparency by our local municipal government. It annoys me when a person from the general public has a question and the mayor and CAO are not forthcoming with an answer. I mean, do these people not realize this secrecy and these stonewalling tactics? Looks like they are trying to hide something. Let me explain. If you've been out driving or walking recently at the west end of town, that's the St. Stephen end of town, you may have noticed the increased size of the parking lot out there. I travel that way pretty much every day, and I watched a big excavator and a dump truck working there for about a week. When the work was completed, it sure looked like an expansion to the existing parking lot. Now, I reached out to a counselor. She didn't know what was going on, so I reached out directly to the mayor. I asked him what was council's reasoning to spend thousands of dollars in the expansion of a parking lot rather than spending some of that money on repairing some of the safety issues on our town streets. And I gave him examples such as we have street crosswalks that you can't even identify anymore because the paint is completely wore off them, or there's just no crosswalk signage. We have potholes and trip hazards on our streets and sidewalks. We have broken curbs and missing and damaged street signage. We've got cars and trucks traveling on our streets over 100 kilometers per hour within 2 feet of our sidewalks. We got four-wheelers and off-road vehicles racing up and down our streets all hours of the day and night. Yet with all these unsafe street and sidewalk issues, why would our town council choose to enlarge a parking lot rather than fix some of these safety concerns? Now, the mayor gave me some wishy-washy answer and stated that the work at the parking lot had only cost a few $100s. Clearly, he did not know what was going on, nor was he willing to find out. Now, as most of us know, this work is not cheap, and you're not going to get a week's worth of work with a big excavator and a dump truck for a few $100s. So I made a formal request to Jason Cadet, our CAO. He's the guy who should know exactly where every penny is being spent. Unfortunately, at the time of this podcast, he has yet to provide me with any of that information or the cost. I don't think they want us to know. I think they forget this is taxpayers' money they are spending, yours and mine. Now, I'd rather see every crosswalk equipped with a solar-powered flashing sign and bright new paint on all of them rather than taking our hard-earned tax dollars to enlarge a parking lot on the other end of town. It makes no sense to put the safety and the well-being of our town residents on the back burner. When we have folks being nearly run over on the street between the post office parking lot and the Bayview Credit Union, or when residents are confused because they cannot identify a crosswalk, we have a problem. When we have residents who will no longer walk on our sidewalk because they are afraid of being run over by one of those Wild West out-of-control drivers, we have a problem. When we have drivers who have broken rims and busted tires from potholes and missing asphalt, we have a problem. So, folks, I want to end with this one question. If we don't hold our elected officials accountable, then who will? So, folks, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. And remember, if you have a concern or a good story, you reach out to us. This is Dave Armstrong signing off at the St. George News Network, the voice for ordinary folks. Cheers.